I always want to do ka-cha after that. You know what I'm saying?
Ka-cha.
Ka-cha. Greetings and welcome everyone to Making Sales Social Live. I'm Bob Woods, the LinkedIn Sherpa, and I'm joined as always by the LinkedIn Whisperer, Bren Tillman. How you doing, Bren?
Good, Bob. How are you?
Doing fantastic today. And speaking of today, we're going to talk about getting on the radars of your prospects, but not in a salesy, pushy, and that always be pitching kind of way that unfortunately is so prevalent nowadays on
Ugh.
LinkedIn. Yeah, I know. There's a way to get pinging on their radars that's not only much softer, but this way actually builds relationships and offers value to your prospects, among others, quite frankly, before you reach out to start a conversation with them. And by taking this route, you'll always stand out from that annoying, always be pitching crowd, which believe me, I think we all want to do that. So we have three specific things to do. First two are pretty darn easy as well. So it's really not that bad to do. So Bryn, let's talk about just simply visiting their profile first.
Yeah. So, in most cases, when you visit someone's profile, they get a notification that they've had a visitor. So, it starts like a little curiosity. So, when you visit their profile, now it's really key that you make sure that your settings are open. Because if you are on anonymous or semi anonymous, they won't
Yeah.
see they may actually see that somebody visited it, but they won't know it's you. And we want to create like this look back kind of moment, right? Like the curiosity, why'd they look at me? Who are they? So you want to make sure that your profile settings are open. It's in the visibility settings of your profile. It's pretty easy to do. But once you're open and you visit their profile, that's one of the very first steps to getting on their radar. What's
Yes.
another one?
Yeah, so I talked about pings before. That's the first ping on their radar. So as that's we if you imagine a radar scope, ping, that's the very first ping
I
right
have an
there.
image now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So the second way to do, and you can do this, and in fact, it kind of goes in with visiting a little bit because while you're on their profile, you can click the follow button. Now, sometimes you'll see the follow button automatically on there instead of connect. You'll see follow, but if you see connect, what you'll do is you'll go down. Is it more nowadays?
Yep.
The more
It's
button.
the more
So you
button.
got the more button, and then one of the options that you'll see in that more button is follow.
Mhm.
So this is like following someone on Twitter. You're not connected. I mean, you can't connect someone on Twitter, but you're not connected with them, but you are following them. And this is where the second bing comes in because they're then going to be alerted that you are now following them. So that one's very important as
I
well.
love that. I think that's
Mhm.
really important. And I think, there's these alerts that come out. Now you can decide if you want to do both of them at the same time or if you want to pace yourself. It
That's
just
another way to do it.
depends. It depends on how you want to do that. But I think I know what number three is. I should have been more prepared. But I'll let you talk about what number three is because this is, I think, where we really start to bring value that you mentioned
Right,
early
yeah,
on.
exactly. So the third one is engaging. Let's see if I get a head nod from yes, that's it.
Yes,
So
that's
the
it.
third so this is where it gets a little more time consuming, but at the same time, it's enormously valuable because
Mhm.
you are in fact adding value to anything that this person rather or these people post. So because you're following them, they'll already know that you're following them. So when you do start to engage on their content, hopefully they'll remember, oh yeah, that guy or that gal just started following me, or that gal, followed me and
Viewed my
visited my
profile and now is on my content.
right. Yeah. So the more pings that you get, the more top of mind that you get with them as well. So Bryn,
Yeah.
uh, because we're both clued in and on the same page now, why don't you talk a little bit about what they should be engaging on and how
Yeah.
they
Oh
should?
gosh, I love that. So the first thing you do is look at their activity. I tend to go right to their post. So when you're on their profile and you click on activity, you'll see all activity. One of the columns is posts. That's what they actually posted. Now, there are people that post often, there are people that post occasionally, and there are people that just never post. So it's a toss up to see what might be here. However, if there is content, this is a great opportunity. Read it, by the way. Read their content and then engage authentically. And that's what, Bob said it might take a little longer, but in order for us to truly engage with prospects, we need to slow down our outreach to speed up the outcome. So we have to really take the time to look at what is it that they shared, and then we can react to it. And by the way, a normal like is fine, but if you did a light bulb for insights or curious or a support based on what that post is, ultimately, you're going to stand out even more, right? It's even that reaction is even better than a thumbs up. So just keep that in mind. So you have lots of reactions. So do something a little outside the box that will stand out a little more. Comment smartly. Really appreciate you sharing this post. My favorite tip was, it was fun to learn this, right? Let them know that you truly, absolutely read it and engaged. Now, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking, we gave you the 3 things: view their profile, follow, and engage. You could even flip it. Right? You could flip it if you wanted to engage and then follow, and then you're really on their radar. And then, now I know that this is the offshoot of the get on their radar, but at this point, we've now established a connection of sorts. And so now we want to actually connect. So when you connect, you mention that content. Bob, I really enjoyed the post that you shared. I'd love to connect and continue to follow your posts. Like, you make them feel good, you make them matter, and it's not salesy, but it's the start of rapport. 2 things. I'm going to go back because I wanted to say this and I didn't. I said there are people that have posted a long time ago. Maybe it's been 6 weeks or 2 months since their last post. If you see that and you want to engage, call the elephant out in the room. Say, hey, Bob, I know I'm a little late to the party, but I'm glad I found this. I'm glad, I'm glad I came across this. I really got some value from it. Or I might be 2 months too late or 2 months late into this, right? So it's not as awkward as, wow, I posted that forever ago. I mean, people don't know how you found it or why it came up. So just, if it is older, call it out. If they don't have content, consider finding content. We can't get on their radar with this, but when we go to connect, consider finding content of industry insights in their industry or the industry they serve, or even their own content. But either way, we want to start conversations that's not salesy. And I know, Bob, I just kind of took over, so I'll toss it back.
Because there's actually, especially in that category that you just mentioned, Bryn, when it comes to trying to ping on the radar of someone who doesn't have a lot of content or maybe even any content, the other thing you could do, and this is a bit of a Hail Mary, but it's something that you could do, would be to, when you go to their activity and that first, and you can click on all activity, if they have commented, and here is the thing though, if they have made a substantial comment on someone else's post, you can reply to their comment on someone else's post. Because let's face it, a lot of people lurk. A lot of people do actually comment on other people's posts without posting content themselves. So like I said, that's definitely farther down in order, but it's something that could conceivably done, of course, if the other person is doing that. So not all is definitely not lost if they're not posting their content. Their own content.
That's really good. And I'm going to add to that now because you got my wheels turning.
Absolutely.
If you go to the activity feed and you see comments they've made, maybe they haven't posted, but they've commented, you can comment on their comments.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was saying, actually. Yep.
Oh, that's what you said.
Yeah. That's
I
what I
was
said.
thinking
No,
you could comment on other people commenting on their comments on
that's,
their
oh,
posts.
that's actually another good one too. That's,
Yeah.
we
So
actually
okay.
kind of
So if
went,
they post something, I love this. I love the brainstorming.
yeah.
If they post something and you've engaged there, but they have other people commenting, you can engage with those commenters.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I
So
love it all.
there's
Yeah.
four things.
There's
That's
so
right.
many ways to really
Yeah,
get.
there are a lot of ways, and I'm sure that there's a couple things that we haven't even thought of as well. If you'd like, if you'd like, find Brent or I on LinkedIn and reach out and connect with us. Mention this, especially if you have another idea, because we'd love to hear those as well.
And our friend Stephen Farber sends a quick little hype. I love it. And we have from Billy Thompson, it's all about all around engagement. It
Yes.
really is. It absolutely comes down to even in person, right? We talk about
Yep.
this on LinkedIn, but in person, if you went to a networking event, it's who you're engaging with. It's
Mhm.
the conversations that you're starting. It's the value that you're bringing to them. And so I 100% agree with Billy when he says it's all about all around engagement. It's about getting on their radar, the pings, which I love. I'm going to use that,
Mhm.
Bob. It's
Mhm.
about getting those pings. And when you get enough pings, they start to come around.
And
Uh,
Will, you're absolutely correct. It should be genuine and sincere. You could not be more right about that. I couldn't have said it any better myself.
Right, because here's the problem, right? If you just do great post, but you didn't read it, I mean, it's like walking up to someone not looking down and saying nice shoes, but I didn't look at the shoes. So I don't know. I'm just saying it to be nice, right? Like I think
Yep.
that's people do notice the sincerity, and that's why we have to read the content. We can't just like or engage without having actually read it. So I love that.
And folks, you know something? It doesn't take that long to do. I mean, we kind of phrase things in like time a little bit at the beginning, but even everything that we've just told you takes what, a minute or two? I mean, you're not devoting all day to this, to just doing this type of thing. It's really not. It really doesn't take a lot of time to read something and be sincere and genuine in the way that you engage with them.
And I'm going to throw one out little tip out, kind of a side tip.
Yeah.
You may have this list of companies and people that you want to engage with, but you also have the opportunity to search content only published or posted by your first degree connections. So if
Yep.
you go into the search bar and hit enter and hit content, there is a filter that says first degree connections. So you can now build a filter of a stream of content that's either
It's post
recent
now.
or what's that?
It's posts now. So
It's posts, not
post the
content.
word
Listen to
post.
Bob,
It's not
not to me.
it used to be, but it's now post. So
Yeah,
you
and
can
so
go.
then you have a stream of content from your first degree connections, and you could do it by relevancy or by timeline.
Yep.
So VGale Simpson says this is a great presentation, bringing clarity on appropriate use of LinkedIn engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We
Appreciate that.
appreciate that very much. So yeah, I think we've kind of hit all the gears on or all the pings on
All the
today's
pings, all the pings. Yeah.
radar topic.
Yeah. So if nothing else, I mean, kind of imagine your prospects a little bit like air traffic controllers. So they're looking at this radar thing and it's sweeping. The first ping, they may or may not immediately notice, but as the pings from you increase and as they get closer and closer to them, they are going to notice it more and more and more as as the number of pings um, multiply there. Oh, and one other thing I would suggest would be to not overdo the comments because otherwise it just looks kind of creepy. So you know do it in a natural way because otherwise you may start get into that always be always be pitching mindset in their mind, even though you're truly not doing that. So just, slow down
Balance.
your, yeah,
It's
yeah,
a
balance.
balance.
Yep, slow
I
down
love
your outreach to speed up your outcome. So with
Great
that,
way to end us. Yep.
yeah, thank you. So, and thanks again, everyone who joined us on Making Sales Social Live. If you're with us live on LinkedIn right now, we do this every week, so keep an eye out for our live sessions. And if you're listening to us on our podcast, in other words, recorded, but you haven't subscribed already, we invite you to hit that subscribe or follow button, depending on the platform that you're on, to access all of our previous shows and be alerted when new ones drop. We actually do 2 shows weekly. We do this one, and we have our Making Sales Social interview series where we talk with leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many more areas. If you want more information about our podcast, go to socialsaleslink.com/podcast. That's socialsaleslink.com/podcast. Also, be sure to drop a like or a rating for our podcast. And yes, slow down your, I'm going to show that one. Yep, Bryn's got that. Slow down your reach to improve, speed up, whatever you want to say, your outcome. That's key in so much of what you do on LinkedIn. So with that, Bryn, let's try to do this one together. And when you're out and about,
make sure
that you're making
your sales social. Okay, we have to practice that one.
Yeah, big time. We need to practice.
We're going to practice.
All
right. When you're out and about, make sure you're making your sales social.
Exactly. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.